self-discipline and self-control, they go hand in hand. Often people come in here, parents will come in here and say, hey, give my kids some discipline. And while it's true they can obtain very good discipline through martial arts, they're not going to get it if they're allowed to avoid portions of the training that doesn't appeal to them. You get that a lot in these kickboxing and MMA programs now. And this is for other instructors out there. My daughter, I was talking to her and she was telling me that there's a guy in her class that just insists on going so hard with women. And I told her that, you know, she needs to let the owner know and have him point this out to him, so that the owner can either talk to this guy or tell him to take it down a notch. And normally these guys won't. When they come in, they're often really intense and they really want to show you just how good they are. I had a guy in here a few years ago, him and his girlfriend. She had started first because she was interested in kickboxing. And then he came in and he was a very high intensity guy, always had to, he was always doing backflips or flipping over the barrels or doing something. And he always insisted on sparring with his girlfriend, and she hated it. And not even sparring, but even with the mitts. So I told him, I said, hey man, you need to lighten that up a little bit. And he just kind of looked at me and smiled, like, what are you gonna do? And he was a former pro football player and a pro athlete. And he just kind of smiled at me like, what are you gonna do about it? And you could see that this girl was scared of him and she didn't like it. So I told him, you really need to stop. And he wouldn't, so we put the gloves on and he thought he was gonna do the same thing to me. And then he got mad at me. He got mad at me for doing exactly what he was doing to everybody else. So for some reason he felt entitled, like that was okay. But nobody was supposed to do that to him. So if you're an instructor out there, and we all have guys like this that come through our gyms. We had a guy a couple of years ago that even during testing, he was kicking and punching and doing his thing so wildly that even parents sitting in the audience were cringing over it. And then he would get mad and have the nerve to tell you, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing, when he obviously didn't. But he was more concerned with proving to people that he did, instead of being concerned for their concern of their own safety. So anyway, put the gloves on with this guy, and unfortunately he never came back. Neither of them did. I hope it didn't make matters worse for them at home, but he did need to get a taste of his own medicine. And you know, sometimes that's just what you need. Sometimes you just have to give them a taste of their own medicine. So when you guys are training and sparring, spar the way the instructor tells you to spar. For example, don't do this and throw air balls and think you're really accomplishing something, and then your partners can't do anything with you because you're doing this. If you're sparring, and you're supposed to be trying to get a flow together with your partner, work back and forth, exchange movements, and even win without hurting your partner. So let's focus on that, and then listen to your instructors and get out there and spar safely. When you see somebody in your gym like that, and they're not following the rules, or they think that they are the exception to that rule, and the instructor doesn't see it, it's your job to point that out. And it might be your job to step up.